G'day and welcome back to Down the Shed with Byron's Shed Update. Now we've had a busy couple of months, and if you follow along you would have seen we've been down to Max Pinjarra Car Show, we've been down to the Demolition Derby where we've broke records for Mount Barker with 35 cars, and we've got a bit of a mess in the shed and out in the yard. And my plans are this week is just to get around to sorting some of the stuff out. I've got, I think, 8 Demolition Derby cars here. 3 of them probably could run again. Then we've got maybe 4 or 5 that need to go to the scrap metal yard. Now I've got my Patrol, needs a bit of love. So I've been detailing it and giving it a good clean out today, just for something to do. I'll run you through what I'm doing there. I've got something special to put in it. What else is going on? The big fella and I want to give you a bit of a rundown on what stage we're up to on the HG Bram and a couple of other old HTs we've got. I've got a new project in the background, which was meant to be for the big fella and, no, not for the big, yeah, big fella, he can help, but the big little fella as well. But I think we might just chip away at it or just put it in the corner, but I'll show you that anyway. Rightio. Now, who's got one of those cars that you're just like, I'll clean that next weekend, I'll get around to that later, and you never do? Now, I think I've owned my old GQ for, oh, it'd have to be over 10 years now, and I've only just decided to give the back seats a good clean. Oh, the water that came out of that was disgusting. If I can find a photo of what they look like before, I'll put that up, and then I'll try and put a photo of after, once it's all dried out. I end up pulling my door cards off, and look at the modification I did back in the day for soundproofing. Bit of old gym matting from Kmart. So I was having dramas a while ago where my window wouldn't wind up and down properly, but it would have been because I tried to do some sound deadening on the inside. So I had that stuck on the inside here. But what I'm going to do, oh, we've got another bit there. That one's stuck there. But what I'm going to do is I've got some leftover sound deadening, or leftover, brand new sound deadening from the Debuild Rebuild, which we might just stick in the door and just one out. So I'll get in there, I'll clean that with some metho or some wax and grease remover. I'll pull off some of my, there we go, we've done that together. Pull off some of that old crud. It worked, but I think there's probably a better way of doing it. And the reason I pulled the driver's door card off was because it was absolutely filthy. And what I've done, I've just gone over, cleaned that all up now. And hopefully all that smucks is all gone that's jammed inside that door card. I'll put a photo up of before and I'll put it back together, and then I'll show you an after photo later. Also the front seats. Now these are some old VE Commodore seats that I happened to get for free, and they've seen better days. They're just worn out and knackered. So I'm thinking while I've got some scrap demo derby cars, I could pull those out, throw them in those scrap cars. And I brought these XR6 seats many years ago from my mate Murray, your legend, dirty thumbs up mate. So they're already on rails, already ready to bolt in. I've got the vacuum cleaner, I've got the cleaner to clean the seats. So I'll give them a clean up, and I reckon they'll work a treat inside this GQ. But I was going through it, and you know, like the back of your 4B where I've got spare batteries, I've got glass cleaner, I've got all the cooking utensils and stuff that you never use. I think we need to do a clean out on that later as well, because we took the family out for a quick picnic, and it was great the other day. We just went down to a local park, which was about an hour or so away, parked up. I pulled the gas cooker out and cooked some sausages up and just went for a bit of a walk. It was beautiful, absolutely unreal. Now, you may have seen it in the background of a few other videos. We've got a VT SS Commodore. Now I've pulled the headlights out because they were broken anyway, so I could throw them in the bin. I've pulled the tail lights out, they were shocking. And it's amazing what a set of wheels can do to a car that looks like a nugget. So I just threw the Monaro wheels on there for now. But we've got a black VT SS, 6-speed manual, black leather, that's seen better days Commodore, which needs a lot of love. Now I'm still umming and ahhing if we even touch it or do anything with it, but yeah, that's on the side burner, that one. Definitely, because I've still got the VR Calais we need to get sorted. Another thing I want to clear off my mind is get this VY wagon sorted. Engine's rattly, engine's knocky. It's one of those things. Now, I was speaking to the high school about helping me out by sending a couple of kids around, and we'll go through a bit of a process of pulling an engine out. They can hear it rattling and knocking and see it running, and then we can pull it out and pull it down, and they can see what's actually wrong with it, which I think would be a good project. Just got to get in touch with the school and see what they reckon. My demolition derby car. You guys, if you've seen the video, I came first. Yay! My life story. I didn't want to come first. I wanted to be most damaged or mad dog, or I wanted to be in the top 3. But we've still got a car for next year. I think it's the crank angle sensor because we've got no spark. It's still got plenty of life in it. It's still a brand new derby car. Yeah, it looks cool, eh? But unfortunately, it is what it is. Now, where I left you last time with the old VR is we need to weld up the hole in the boot that was letting water in. I need to put all the door cards back on it, so they're all stripped off. This one's all repaired. We've got to put the sound deadening up in those, so I've gone down and brought that. And mate Andy from Rex to Restos, he reached out to me. If you haven't seen his channel, jump on Rex to Restos. Awesome content with what he does, and he's going to help us out in the future with some old Holden stuff, but we'll catch up with him later. He recommended using some car builders door card rebuilding stuff, so I went down to the local auto store and we grabbed that. So we'll see how we go with that kit. Spoke to Dan from Vision Trim. He's going to help me with sorting out the seats. So I've already got this passenger seat ready to come out. I just got it prepped up for the video, but then as the OG followers would understand and know, we had to go to hospital start of the year. So this one come to a screaming halt. Do I do the Patrol first or the Calais? We've got to get that workhorse happening. Then the wife, she's hit me up and gone, we need to start work on the caravan. She's done a ripper job of stripping it out, and I've deviated. We won't worry about that one for now. I've skull dragged the old VP 5 litre up. That's another project. I'm going to drop the fuel tank out of it next. We'll suss out the fuel tank and fuel pump and work out if we just put a fuel cell in it for now, just to make it run and drive. And then that can be a movable garden ornament. So we know we've got a 5 litre drive line, but we don't need to use it yet. We've still got the VT Calais LS1 sitting here. I put a battery in it, and for some reason it started first shot. I'm like, why? But then I've got the cars that I actually need and they're playing up. Who else has got those dramas? It's like your own family car's got dramas, but then the project car sits in the back corner for 3 years, starts first pop. Ah! Now when it comes to the derby cars, we've got my mate Joe's that I built for him, that I'm looking at thinking this is repairable. We'll put something around the front here, snatch that out or pull it out. We'll jack up the roof, pop the dent out the roof, and then at least we can reuse this car. Got a lower control arm here. I'm just going to doctor one up or make one out of parts we've got down there. And this is a reusable car. What I am so glad I did though is that upright bar, which is solid, has just protected me, mate, from that rollover. So it just proves how important that upright bar is. But what I'm going to do from now on is I'm going to mount one on each side, and then I'm going to make these B-pillar bars sort of bolt onto them, so that way it gives us a little bit more reinforcement on the passenger side as well. That way, like my big mate James, that he hasn't got a lot of headroom in his car, it just gives you that extra protection, because if you're going over and then your head comes back, if the roof is caved in, you're smashing your head on it. So I'm hoping Joe's car we can rebuild. I'm hoping we can make James's car, rebuilt. So this needs, no it doesn't, yes it does. This side here, the lower control arm snapped off. So it's actually gone. Where is it? Out in Mount Barker Raceway somewhere. So what we can do there is we can salvage parts off of Jeff's car, which he's had a good crack in this thing. We can take that left hand side off, put it on this. We can take the right hand rear side suspension out, put it onto this, and this is good to go again. This will be its 4th derby. So we had safety grandpa drive it, James has driven it, James has driven it. Now we've got to find out who's going to drive it for the 4th time. Do we give it to safety grandpa, or do we let James have another crack? So yeah, there's a couple of little cars down the backyard. I still got to go back down to Mount Barker and pick up Simon's and see if we can reuse it, or at least take the bar work out of it and use it for another derby car down the track. We've got Tim's winning car here. I've got to strip that out, pull the wheels off, bar work out. That goes straight to the scrappies. Again, I've asked the high school if they want the engines, because I think for kids at school, if they can pull something apart and actually physically get their hands onto those bits and pieces, you know, and what do you call it, component identification sort of scenario, it gives those kids some sort of, like, I don't know, it sticks in their head. You remember the old suck, squeeze, bang, blow? You'll remember the strokes of a 4-stroke. What's the strokes of a 2-stroke? Anyhow, this is one spot I want to clean up. So I want to drop this big branch here. I'll do a hyperlapse of that shortly. I'm thinking I should cut it in different sections just so it's out of the way. That's all going to go, and then I'm going to start lining up running derby car, running derby car, running derby car, maybe a running derby car, and then I'll so I can stack them up here. I get along with my neighbour, absolutely awesome. So helps when you do a couple of jobs for him every now and then. We got to do some burning off. Those basketball rings I've got there, I'm going to chop them up, make them into fence posts. So that's another little mission, and then that clears this whole backyard, cleans it up, and just makes it look 10 times better, and hopefully keeps the missus off me for making the yard look like, actually now look at it now. Dude, where's my car? Oh, have a look at that. Scrapping, hopefully reuse. Yep, all the ones I sort of want to keep-ish. Oh, the debuild, rebuild, that's another project. Besides the other little workhorse here, which we've got to pull the engine out, and it's got that decompression valve on the crankshaft that needs replacing, and it's probably a 5-minute job, and I just haven't got to it. The debuild, rebuild, I definitely want to get into, even if it's just chipping away at it myself, but I'd love to bring the 3 kids back into it and do a comparison of when we sort of wound up on that last video and then kick off again. That would be cool. But I had to steal the power steering pump off of this for mine, etc, etc. So I've got myself a list of stuff I want to chip through and get out of the way, and you know, mainly got to get my workhorse going again. I've got a high-low range fault with it, e.g. the selector needs pulling apart, lubing up. I want to do the front brake upgrade, which I'm going to do. What I'm going to do probably today or tomorrow is strip down this front diff assembly, because how long has that been sitting in front of my shed? Just strip it down so I've got the brakes, we can put them on the bench, we can pull them apart and start rebuilding them. I've got all the parts for it, just got to do it. There's the spare Ecotech for the VY. Picked that up just after Christmas. I got that, so that's out of a running car, just needs to be put straight in that VY. Bang, that's gone. Or we can help my mate Robbie out, because he was chasing it ages ago. I'm going to tick along with giving those seats a vacuum now, a quick wash while we've got a beautiful day and they can dry out. I might pull the VE ones out for now and at least strip them off the rails so we can throw them into a scrap car. We'll do that sound deadening and fix that up properly, and then see where we're at. Might pull that low range selector off. Oh, we've also got a noisy air conditioning compressor. Low range or aircon? I'll ring up the local mechanic and see if he can evac the aircon system for me. And I'll see if I can find another compressor, So I think we'll sort out that low range, because if I leave it locked in higher two-wheel drive, at least I can still drive it. So we can drop that rod off, sort that out. But I wanted to make a video on that just to help other people out with their GQs, or possibly it's the same for a GU, of just how to pull that off and recondition it or sort it out. Yeah, we'll come back to you. Oh yeah, how satisfying is that? Right, we've got the next bit that's exciting and everyone loves to do. Let's pull out the waste. This is probably drinkable, eh? But that's amazing what you can actually get out of your seats. Now if I keep doing that until it comes out clear, I'll be there all day. Here we go. Oh yeah. Woo. Right, let's we'll let those dry. I'll pull out those VE seats, and then we'll sort out that door card. Well, I got them in. They look nice. I don't know how my mate was driving with them. So he's got the adjusters on the inside, which I did realise before, but they're both on the lean, and the passengers, that's as far back as it would go. But it wasn't a ute, but man, yep, I don't think his brackets are suited. So we'll pull them back out, put them to the side. Now I know they're clean, I'll put a bag over them and we'll stash them out the way. Put the VE seats back in, but I got the door trim done. That has come up mint compared to before, so I'm happy with that. We'll throw that back on. I've done the sound deadening through the door, which is going to be good enough, and that went on really easy. So we'll be able to put the plastic back on. Ta-da, done. And to give me a hand with one of my jobs, my big mate James has rocked up, and he's about to drop a couple of limbs off this tree for us. Whoa, 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 whoa! Well, he made light work of that. Here I was trying to use this Ryobi little chainsaw thing just to cut limbs off. We'll drop that now, and then that makes this area clear to put all the derby cars. Sweet. It's good having long arms. Nice. Oh, I know, you scratched the derby car. Whew. You got that to drop all right, man? Pardon? Just missed your car.
Perfect placement.
Yeah. It's always good to have...
Just missed, it's perfectly timed it.
It's always good to have a professional over, eh, James? Oh, you got it without even hitting the car. Good work, mate. Good work. 30 thumbs up. Back into it today, and a massive thanks to my mate James for sorting out this area for us. Now I can start lining up the derby cars that kind of run that we could possibly rebuild. And we skull dragged that one up there, which was probably a bad move, but you get that. So now we've got that area cleared, so if anything does drop now, yeah, it does damage, but not to some of the cars I want to sort of keep straight-ish. Now the VE Commodore seats, I put them back into the Patrol. and gave them another clean. They'll be all right. The XR6 seats, they are definitely comfortable, but I have to go buy the rails to bolt them to the GQ rails, and then where I can buy a couple of VE seats for a couple $100, and you can make one decent one out of 2 seats, because you can just swap those bases around, which is handy. So I might just stay the Commodore seats. The back seat came up a treat. So let's see if you can see it now. I'll put a before photo up, and now check out the after. So just with a couple of cleans, they've come up sweet. Might need to do all the rest of the door trims and those sound deadening, but the front door trim, I am so happy with that. Yes, it's probably got a couple of residual stains, but she'll be right. I'll put a before photo up, and now have a look at it. What do you reckon? But that'll do for the inside of the Patrol for now. I started stuffing around with the aircon yesterday, but I thought, hold on, I'll stop and I'll show you what I'm talking about with the rattle of the compressor. So at idle, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to hear the compressor wind up. Oh, it's just disengaged then. When it re-engages, I'll rev it up and you'll hear it play up. Now, I did take the belt off last night and spun the actual bearing for where the belt runs for the pulley, and that's got a little bit of noise, but you should be able to hear that now if it was playing up. I'll wait for it to engage, and then yeah, I'll rev it up. Oh, there we go. Can you hear that? Now I'll just rev it up a little bit. Hear that? I hope you can hear that. So yeah, the compressor sounds upset. I've just rang up the local mechanics, Ours Automotives, and he said bring it down and we'll degas it for you. And then I've got to try and work out what compressor I put on it many years ago, which I have a feeling is a Santos compressor, which I may have a couple of spares here. So we'll have to see if we can make one out of these, or if I can just go and buy a new compressor for it. So that might be a mission a bit later this afternoon to pull that off and have a look. So I'll just get it degassed, and then we'll go from there. I've also got the front diff assembly here, which I was talking about yesterday, stripping down. So I've got it on some rollers for now. Grabbed a couple of milk crates that I had kicking around. So we'll be able to pull the hubs off, throw them into a crate, because they come in handy every now and then, but we'll just get those brakes off. Then I think the next thing for this would be to start pulling off that selector for low range and seeing if I can sort that out. But I want to bring, once I've got this diff assembly all stripped down, I want to bring the VR Calais back in here, and then we can park it up there-ish, so I can start doing some of those door trims and maybe sussing out that rear end of what we can do with the rebuild of that. And I've got a diff assembly that my mate DJ gave us to put in it. So I've got an LSD, I'll just double check that ratio. I think it's a 308 ratio out of a VT. So we should be able to plonk that into it as well. As I may have previously said in another VR video, it's an open wheeler, the pinion's leaking and output seal's leaking, so free LSD, that's actually okay. We'll have to double check it, but we'll throw that into that old girl. Then there's another job I need to sort out. From when that power steering pump was leaking, it was atomizing oil just slowly all over it. Yes, it's a rust prevention, but I might just give the engine bay a quick tub. And then I think the next thing I wanted to look at, I've double checked oils because I've been running around in it. Well, have we got a few extra dramas to work out. Just been down to my mate's workshop. We borrowed his evac system and reclaimed all the gas and that out of this air conditioning system. Then when we took the hose off and the fitting, you could just see metal paste filing sort of stuff. So he said, mate, that's going to be through your system. And I'm like, bugger. So now, really, because I've got one of those paraflow condensers, so it's got lots of little holes at each end. That's just going to be blocked but lucky I brought a new one for that. But then I might as well pull the evaporator out. Then we've got to clean all the lines out, and then I've got to try and source a compressor. So I'm thinking this air conditioning job's going to be bigger than this afternoon's mission. Then I just gave it a quick pressure clean in the engine bay just to tidy things up to see what else we've got going on. And I remembered I've got a condenser fan that is knackered, and the winch solenoid that's knackered, so it's probably worth pulling the front end off. And then that's just escalated because I might as well pull the bonnet off because that's got a dent in it, put the other bonnet I've got on it, clean it up, might as well pull the guard off, tidy up underneath that. I've got new guards in the shed for it. Do I go to town on the thing? It probably needs it. I've got little spots of rust starting to build up on the roof, so I really want to get into that and wire brush that and rust convert that before it goes any further, which we all know as soon as I hit it with the wire brush, it's just going to go straight in. So that's another day mission. I'm thinking we leave it for now. It's running, drivable. I can still use it as a bit of a tow rig, but I need to bring that Calais back down here and yeah, kick into that and see if we can get a couple of bits sorted out on that, so then I can make that my tow vehicle. Oh, have I started another can of worms? I think like my mate Peter Anderson would say, I think it's time for a cuppa, and we better have a think about this because it'd be all right to leave it here and chip away. Hold on, I got a diff assembly I meant to pull apart. I forgot about that. Right, we'll get into stripping that shortly. So the story with this diff assembly is ages ago I seen a TB, oh no, dude, that doesn't feel right. Oh no, I'll set the camera up and show you. But anyway, story was I found a TB42 fuel injected patrol wrecking. I'm like, I know they've got the bigger brakes. Messaged, oh mate, how much do you want for the brakes? 50 bucks. What? Okay, how much for the whole diff assembly? Make it 150 bucks. Done. Heaps easier to throw in the back of the car. So I brought this diff assembly initially just for the brakes. But now we've got a spare diff center, housing, spindles. Now I did help my mates at Petters out with some spindles ages ago, because apparently they couldn't find any in WA, secondhand or that day. So I don't think it hurts to have a couple of spare bits and pieces kicking around. So for what I actually wanted, hey, 150 bucks is a bargain. Now I'll show you, that just feels so watery. Okay, hopefully you can see there, but I'll take the filler plug out first. Now always, if you're ever going to drain your diffs or gearboxes or whatever, make sure you can pull the filler plug out first, then undo the drain plug. There we go. It's actually not bad, but it feels really thin. I guess it is the front diff, isn't it? The magnet looks alright, a bit of fluff on it. Well, that's not a lot of oil for a front diff, is it? We are at, let's have a look there. Wait for that to settle. We are not even at the 2 litre mark. Let me just lift that assembly up a little bit. Surely it's not all down one end. Ah, there we go. I didn't have it hanging right. Before I go too much further, I better put some work clothes on. I'm out in my good down the shed with Byron shirt. You can't do that. Smell like gear oil. The wife will bloody jump me. Alrighty then, I'm back into it. Got my work gear on, good to go. I've been getting stuck into it, trying to get all the nuts and bolts cracked off. while it's obviously not on the workbench, because some of these have been rather tight. Now it's got these stupid aftermarket hubs on it which had Torx bits in them, and they were just all, I ended up smashing that off with a hammer, so that can go in the bin. I've just undone all the brake rotor to hub bolts, even though that rotor's okay if it needed a machine, but we've got new ones of those. Then I've gone to crack the bleed nipple, and I've got a snap-on like brake line spanner, open flared spanner, and yeah, I'm getting to that point where it felt like it was about to slip on the bleed nipple, so I ended up getting a single hex socket and putting that on there with the ratchet, and it was starting to try and undo it, and it was getting to that point where I'm like, is this going to snap? So I stopped, and then I got the old butane torch, and I just sat that just around the edge here. Just kept heating it, and I don't know, probably about 15 minutes of doing that. Then I got the socket on there, ratchet, and then I had just held pressure on it so it was in the undo position, and I just gave that a tap with a hammer, so it would and it just yeah, cracked the threads on that bleed nipple and came undone. So very lucky there. So hopefully we've saved the bleed nipple in that caliper. I've cracked the other side. Everything seems to be coming undone on this side. Now just a little tip, if you are undoing bolts, and just an example, say you only get out a couple of threads, spray a bit of WD-40 or some lube on them, then wind them back in again just so it puts a bit of lube on the threads again, and then try again. Just keep working it back and forth. If you don't have any WD-40, I was at the wreckers once and this old fella goes, grab the dipstick out of the engine and use the oil off the dipstick on the thread of the bolt that you're doing. And I was like, dude, that is so cool. And I've used that many times. Now I've got one bolt over here on the caliper that is being that stubborn. I'm having a feeling that's going to snap. So I'm going to set you up on the tripod and let's see if we get it to crack. All right, let's see if I end up doing a backflip. I might just get a better grab on it. We'll try giving it a bit of berries. This one might need some heat as well. Oh, don't spin on me. Oh, come on. There we go. So it's starting to turn. And what I'm going to do is I'll try and give that another quarter of a turn. Oh, come on. Spray some lube on that and I'll send it back in again. Righto. Oh, I have a feeling this is going to snap. Right, let's try and undo it again. That's where I need the big fella here. Give us a hand. Yeah. Maybe. What do you reckon, guys? Are we going to get it? Oh, was that a snap? Or was that the socket coming off? Or was it the threads cracking? Oh, maybe it was just stuck in that slide. Look at it now. Oh, yeah, we must have been stuck in that slide there. Ah, well, wasn't the threads. Now it's out. So what I want to do is actually just have all this all cracked off and oh no, we snapped it. Well, this might have come to a screaming halt. What do we do there? Pull it off and have a look. What a bummer. Yes, well, and trying to buy that one bracket, that'll be interesting. Unless you've got one. TB42, petrol, fuel injected. What side's that? Right hand side bracket. Yeah, I'll keep stripping it down and I'll catch us up in a little bit. Well, I got the bracket off. That's the broken slide bolt. So we're about there. So how far in do you reckon that is? What do? Do we just heat that up, quench it, heat it up, quench it? Do we drill another little hole on this side so we can put a pin punch through it, send it out? What would you do? Or would you buy another bracket? So if I can get this one out, let's go. That's about that long-ish. So let's just presume that we are about there. What a bummer. Oh well. So with this left-hand side all pulled apart now, I pulled the hub off, put everything back together, and we had water come out of it. Look at the CV shaft. And on the inside of all those balls, we've got rust as well. So I don't know, I'll reassess them, but I think technically you probably clean them up enough to make them work again if you really needed to. But I'm thinking the bin. But all you needed, or all apparently we need, is that and that. The caliper, backing plate, and rotor if you didn't have it, or buy new. So all that effort for that, and then now I'm just at that point where I'm like, oh, it would have been easier to buy a GU front diff and throw that in there, or my brakes work fine, why am I even touching them? And then on this side I thought I'd give a couple of tips. I had one of the bolts for the hub, my Allen key end has sort of stripped out, so I ended up stripping the inside of the bolt out. So what I did, I just got a hammer and chisel on it and just kept bashing it until it came undone. So that's one little tip. And then on the inside here, because we've got a bonus here, we've got the GU locking hubs. And it's got these little Phillips head screws in here. Now I don't know about you, but or if you've got them, have you stripped those screws? So what I do, I get the screwdriver just into it and I hold pressure on it and give it a tap with the hammer. Basically like that, holding it in the undo position, so holding pressure on it, and just tap the end of the screwdriver until you feel it crack, and then you've got it undone. Then that way you don't end up stuffing the end of the screw. Well, I made light work of that. Oh, there we go. And this one. Oh, no, she's not completely out. Another love tap. One this side. That's good enough to coming out. I think it's a cup of tea time, clean up, and that's another job that I've got eliminated from out the front of the shed. Dirty thumbs up. And just like that, we got a clearish area. If I didn't move everything out here. Right, we've got that diff assembly out of the way. I am happy about that for now. The brake side of that I'll look into later. The next thing is to sort out some of this old Holden stuff that we've got kicking around from the Ute build. I need to segregate that, label it, or even see if someone wants it. So that way we can actually get back into the Bram, which is in the mix. We have got some new parts that our mate Matty Brandis from Silent 6, you legend bro, helped us out with some pistons and rings. And then we also had we've got a massive shout out to a bloke called Benny. He hooked the big fella up with Ellenbrock manifold, carby, and a air filter assembly. How good's that? What a legend, Benny. Thanks, mate. Big fella's over the moon about that. We got out to DJ's that weekend and we'll, you know, just as in general having a chat, and the big fella's like, DJ, come look what I got. I might get stuck into the Calais now and give it just a general vacuum and a quick clean out. I won't go overboard because I want to continue those Calais videos. I did happen to get a heap of cars parked up, so we've got a running derby car, running but needs work, scrap car, James's car I'll sort out later. So I've kind of neatened up the yard. Well, the wife doesn't think that, but you guys do. You're on my side, aren't you? So this has just been one of those weeks where I thought I'd do a shed update at the start of the video and just see how it went. And then I thought I'll continue with bits and pieces that I'm chipping away at, because I just want to get so many bits and pieces done so that way I can continue my footage on the Calais, the Bram, the debuild, rebuild, my patrol, etc, etc. So I thought, why not bring you along for a ride and yeah, see how the video goes. So I'm hoping you guys have enjoyed it. And it's also a little bit of behind the scenes, which is similar to what my members only videos are. So I'm going to put the link in the description and in one of the comments. So if you do want to help support the channel by either buying merch or jumping onto the members only, and a massive shout out to those 10 people. Hey, yeah, it just helps the channel out, and with bits and pieces that we need for different projects in the mix. Now also this week's a little bit of a sad thing as well. If anyone is OG followers and follows the channel, you'll realise that my little girl is crook. She's got a brain tumour, and we're going through a process at the moment of treatments for her. And unfortunately yesterday when we went to the hospital, the treatment trial stuff she was on isn't cooperating with her body, so we've got to try a different medication from here on. So yeah, you're going to see some videos here and there. You might see one a week, you might not see a couple for a week. So I'm going to apologise now that, hey, this is just a hobby for me, and if I don't happen to get something out, hey, just hang on, I'm here. All right guys, well thanks for watching. Dirty thumbs up. Make sure you have a great day and make great memories with loved ones. Righto, take it easy and see you when I'm looking at you.